Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Now, office talk. Now, a big part of working in an office is the relationships that you have with the people around you, your colleagues, your boss, your supervisor, and as well as the customer service or the clients that you have. And at the center of every relationship, at the base of every relationship, is the communication, the way that you talk to them, the way that you respond. And being in an organization that is very small, there's less than 15 of us in the organization, it just emphasizes more that effect of communication has towards the relationship that we have between each other. Now, for this speech, I'll be talking about the three people that in my office that about their communication style and how it affects my communication style in the end. So let's first talk about the first person, which is the friend. So it's called my friend. Now, my friend has an initiating style of communication. Now, what it means by this is they are very sociable and they are very energetic. He is the same size as me, the same height. People usually say that we have the same appearance but different personalities. He is like a big ball of energy, while I'm just a ball. Now, the catchphrase that he always says every time I met him is, "How are you?" Because as the initiating style of communication, he is very, very much motivated by relationships rather than the task or the decision that he's trying to make. And because of this, he is more than willing to listen to your stories, and whenever he has some story to tell, he's more than willing to tell you. But it's not just a very on the surface kind of relationship, because he is also willing to talk heart to heart. He's also willing to listen to the worries that you have. He's also willing to help you out whenever he has the chance. He likes to joke around all the time, but when it comes to very serious matters, he always step up to the plate and delivers the best that he can. And throughout all of these times, he always has a smile on his face. Now, why I'm saying this is because communication doesn't just have to be spoken communication. There is such thing as a non-spoken communication, and smile comes under that as well. Because a smile can communicate emotions or things that sometimes words cannot. And the reason why I say this is because of his very sociable, energetic, and motivated by relationship kind of attitude. It's very easy to approach him, and it's very easy to trust him. And because of that, no matter what he asks us to do, no matter what kind of things that he asks us to help, we are more than willing to help him out. Because he developed that trust in us already. And because of the things that we enclose to him, because of the things that we tell him, you just feel like you're indebted to just return the favor. And what I learned from him is that you have to develop trust with the people around you, with the people that you work with. And one way to do that is just to have a very approachable kind of communication style. Listen to people and talk to them. Try not to be too serious, is what I'm trying to say. Next is the second person, which is my supervisor. Now, my supervisor has a very supportive style of communication. Now, according to Toastmasters, supportive style of communication, these people tend to be very gentle, very calm, and they're very patient. Now, what my supervisor has, something different than everybody else, is that she loves to talk. She loves to talk so much that I realize nowadays that whenever she tries to open her mouth, my mind automatically goes on an excursion by itself, so I don't have to listen to what she's trying to say. Her catchphrase is always, "Did you know? Did you know? And did you know?" Followed by some very, very personal stories. She has a very soft voice, and combine that with her meaningless stories, it sounds like a late night talk show. And just like any late night talk show, the kind of things that she talks about are not necessarily the things that I want to listen to. For example, how she says every time she watches to the weather, to the sky, if it's hot, "Oh, I can finally dry out my clothes." Or sometimes she talks about her yearly her yearly vacations to Europe, what things she talk about, what things she do. But I think it affects her communication style in a way that it goes to the fact as that every instruction that she gave us is always quoted with these stories as well. Because last week she told me about her weekly trampo exercises, which is basically like spinning, but instead of using a bicycle, you use a trampoline every Wednesday. And she talks about that for 10 minutes, and then the end she said, oh, by the way, next Wednesday, can you give me a 5-year budget plan as well? Thank you. And then she just goes back to her own work. Now, the reason for this is she's not very direct, so I get confused a lot easier. And whenever I try to ask her more and more and more, it just confuses more. It confuses me more and wastes my time and wastes my effort as well. So the thing that I learned from her is not what I should do, but what I should not do. Which is to not talk too much. Now the third person is my boss, my big boss, which is my director. My director has a very direct style of communication. And what this is very task oriented. He is very decisive and is very confident in what he's trying to say. His catchphrase here is, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. The reason why he does this is because he is a very old man. He has more than 40 years of experience working as a manager, and because of that he already knows what he wants to do, he already knows how to do it. So every time he calls my name, I already know that I should expect to just listen to what I'm trying to say and then just do what he wants me to do. It's a very direct communication style. He never beats around the bush. He never tells me personal stories. For him, it's just directions, directions, and directions. And what I like about him is that he doesn't just give me things what I need to do, but he also gives me the reason why. And that's what I like the most about him. Because with the reason why, I don't feel like what I'm doing is meaningless. I feel like what I'm doing is actually meaningful, that what I do actually helps to improve or help to grow the organization as a whole. So because of that, I'm motivated to do what I want to do because of it. So that is the kind of communication style that he has. What I learned from him is to be very, very clear and also very concise. Now those are the three people that I have in my office. My friend, my boss, and also my supervisor. Now, what is their influence on me? Well, first, I learned that I need to develop trust with people. Second is, I learned to not beat around the bush, to not tell unnecessary stories. And third is, I learned to be very, very clear and very concise. And this is the kind of things that I try to integrate into my communication style as well, in my office, in my everyday life, and also perhaps in Toastmasters. And I hope that in the future I can be a better communicator and a better leader because of it. And with that, back to you, Toastmaster leader.